How much we can misunderstand science. Let me give you an example. As a person who used science, I was designing operating systems, compiler construction I was doing and all that, So when I started preaching, so-called preaching in colleges, I was very young at that time, and I remember going to IIT, Mumbai one day, and with me some devotees went. And in those days our idea was you should attack science. So IIT I went, and there were 200-300 students, and they were also curious. Somebody who's MTech and all that who went up. In those days not so many people went to America in the 70s, and started his own company. Now he has become a Taklu, so let us go and see what he's going to say, engineer. But they all came. So I was asking them that suppose you are walking on the street and somebody is in front of you, his purse, wallet falls down, and you pick it up. Whose wallet it is, yours or that man's? And they all said that man's wallet. And suppose you say it is yours, what does it make you? They all said thief. Then I said, how many of you accept that before Newton also apple was falling, and falling due to gravity? Everybody put their hand up. Because before Newton also apple was falling due to gravity. Correct? Only thing we didn't know, it was. So Newton found the apple was falling due to gravity. So whose law is it? God's law of gravity or Newton's law of gravity? Because it's already existing. So they all said God's law of gravity. But if we call it Newton's law of gravity, what does it make Newton? The IIT boys didn't know what to say, and all the devotees were very loud. Thief! And everybody taliban. And of course, at the end of the lecture, to compensate, we gave them sweet rice and prasadam. And they were okay. And they speak whole Bhagavad Gitas, and we came back, and all the boys were happy. I'm also happy, and we are preaching for Krishna. We're defeating science. Good job. I came back. I slept that night. I had good sleep. And I woke up in the morning. First thought went in my mind. I can't say how it came, and I can only say maybe Prabhupada put it in my head. Said that you are a fool, number one. The apple was falling due to gravity only after Newton, not before Newton, and it is Newton's law. And if you are going to speak science like this nonsense, then you won't be able to do the work I want you to do. Prabhupada said. I woke up and said, wow, I didn't know this. And then slowly I went through so much, and then once I understood science in so deeper way, I understood it is a fact, it is Newton's law of gravitation, it is not God's law of gravitation.
What was the world like before Isaac Newton discovered gravity? Was everything just floating up to the sky?
Well, gravity was always there, so it
But
just
he just took the credit for it.
Why? Because science has got two tasks. How many? Two. The first one is to actually account for observations. Science, nature is regular. Morning sun is rising, evening sun is setting. Nature is regular. If you drop an object from a certain height, it will always fall at the same time to the ground, unless of course there's a heavy wind and it blows normally. Like that. if water is coming at a certain speed and volume and you put a particular bucket, it will always take 5 minutes to fill up. It's the same. There's regularity in science. So this regularity can be captured by mathematics. Data is accounted for by empirical law, mathematical law. The same data can be accounted for by different theories. So they have this idea called underdetermination of theory by data. Underdetermination means, suppose you say x plus y equal to 7. What is x? Underdetermined. X can be 4 and y is 3, but x can be 5 and y is 2. X can be 9 and y could be minus 2, whatever it is. Therefore, a single equation and two unknowns is underdetermining its own solution. Given a particular data, the theory is not fixed. Are you following? The theories can be different. For example, given the planetary motions, or apple falling, there is one theory, Newton's theory, that explains it, F equal to ma. But Einstein's theory is different. That also explains, but in a totally different way. And they are completely different, they are not the same. Although it is true that Newton's mechanics can be given as a limiting case for speeds far, far less than c, the theories are different, their physical view is different. In Newton's theory there is gravitation, but in Einstein's theory there is curvature of space-time, so things like that. Why motion is there. So there is something called underdetermination of data by theory by data. You are following this point? Okay. Therefore, when you say that the apple is falling due to gravity, that is true only in Newton's theory. It's not true in everything. It is not a fact of nature, it's a fact of the theory. Just like when you look at the world with a blue glass, everything is blue. It's not a feature of the world, it's a feature of your glass. If you look at it with red glass, everything will be red, but that's a feature. So when you look at the falling apple through Newton's theory, it's falling due to gravity. But when you look at it through Einstein's theory, it's falling due to curvature of space-time. Therefore, it follows that only in Newton's theory, apple is falling due to gravity.